Stay with me, little bitch, yeah, you know that I'm your man. You be capping like a snitch, no thoughts, won't stand. 2 hoes, 10 toes, new guac, coming bands, new whip, new chips, new kicks, Jackie Chan, that she pay. Bad bitch, throw back, I just hit another lick and she be counting in my rest. And I be feeling hella rich, no Brian, 100 stack, about to make another hit, God bitch, in my life. Stay with me, little bitch, yeah, you know that I'm your man. You be capping like a snitch, no thoughts, won't stand. 2 hoes, 10 toes, new guac, coming bands, new whip, new chips, new kicks, Jackie Chan, that she pay. Bad bitch, throw back, I just hit another lick and she be counting in my rest. And I be feeling hella rich, no Brian, 100 stack, about to make another hit, God bitch, in my life. If she fucking with me, then you know I got it down. I be feeling like a Uzi, got my mind up on the check, foot loose, getting goofy with your hoe, she love me back. I ain't talking ass cash, but that bitch she be my head. And I posted out with twin glass and phone bitches, no face, all they want is squad. I burn bridges, I be getting to the bag, you still cleaning dirty dishes, doing my set, shut to your spot with no limits. Stay with me, little bitch, yeah, you know that I'm your mans. You be capping like a snitch, no thoughts, won't stand. 2 hoes, 10 toes, new guac, cutting bands, new whip, new chips, new kicks, Jackie Chan, that she bad. Bad bitch, throw back, I just hit another lick and she be counting on my rest. And I be feeling hella rich, no Brian, 100 stack, about to make another hit, God bitch, on my life. Stay with me, little bitch, yeah, you know that I'm your man. You be capping like a snitch.
What's up, guys? This is Agent What If, and I'm back again with another video. This is what if Deku was the White Wolf / the Winter Soldier. So if you guys enjoy, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. But without any further ado, let's get straight into this video. So we start off with one Izuku Midoriya being born to one Hisashi and Inko Midoriya, right? He was a normal child, except for the fact that when Izuku was first born, he had 2 quirks. Right off the bat, the people immediately found out he had 2 quirks. Izuku was so powerful, in fact, that when he first came out of his mother, the first time he opened his eyes, he was looking at the doctor who slapped him, right, to get him to cry. He immediately mind controlled this doctor, and when the other doctor tried to pick him up, his body turned into metal, but then the mind control wore it off. They were shocked and horrified at the exact same time. Hisashi immediately picked up Izuku, and Izuku was perfectly fine with it, as if he knew that these were his parents. Then we do a small little time skip to around when Izuku was 4 years old. Izuku's been being taught his entire life to make sure that he is a good person and doesn't use his abilities to hurt anyone. And he's also been taught that just because people tell you bad things about your quirk doesn't mean that you're a bad person. So he's been getting taught this his entire life because of the fact that his quirk is mind control, which is not very good, goodly looked at when coming from the outside looking in. Then that's when Izuku basically developed a sort of kind of hero complex. He was told by his parents to be a good person, and he started associating being a good person with being a hero because of the fact that, Izuku was young, impressionable, and his parents told him to be a good person, and he found that being the best type of person there is saving people's lives. That makes logical sense. So Izuku wanted to be a hero. That's when one day Izuku was out with his mother. And when Izuku was out with his mother one day, they were walking through the store, and that's immediately when Izuku pulled on his mother's hand, and she said, "Yes, Izuku?" And Izuku said, "Mom, I need to go to the bathroom." She says, "Okay, honey, just make sure that once you finish, you don't wander off. Stay in the bathroom, okay? Well, not in the bathroom, but outside of the bathroom door." He said, "Okay," and he walked away while she continued to get groceries. As soon as Izuku turned the corner, a person appeared behind her, and it appeared almost as if all time had stopped. And that's immediately when Inko is talking to this man who towers over her, and he asks her, "So you're Inko Midoriya?" And she turns around, scared a little, saying, "Who are?" And before she could finish, the dude chopped her in the neck, picked her up, and left. That's immediately when time seemed to start again, and the lady was like, "Okay, here's your chain." And then she didn't see Inko, and she was like, "Where did the lady go?" That's when Izuku had just came out of the bathroom, and he was standing there. Izuku had been waiting for about 30 minutes, but he just assumed his mother was running late. that's immediately when Izuku decided to go out looking for her and disobeying her orders, or not, well, orders in this case. And that's immediately when Izuku was knocked out from behind and grabbed. Izuku was then awoken in a different place. This was a place Izuku had not been before. This was a place he'd never seen or even been to ever. It was dark and it was creepy. There was a guy strapping him to a table. And the man said, "Oh, subject 101 is awake. Shall we proceed with the experiment?" And that's immediately when a man walks out of the shadow saying, "Yes, you shall." All you can hear is the shot going out of the warehouse and Izuku screaming his lungs out. And then that's when we get another time skip. Then we time skip to Izuku on a mission. And he gets a receiving call from one of his earpieces saying, "Wolf." Izuku says, "Yes." The man says, "Is the target down?" "No, I'm following him to a secluded area before extermination." Then that's when the man says, "Good. Make sure you exterminate with extreme prejudice. This is a very strong person. Make sure to not underestimate him." Izuku says, "Of course." The man says, "Make sure that once you kill him, there's no recollection of him." Izuku says, "But why? Why go to such lengths? Who is this guy?" And then that's immediately when he says, "Are you questioning my judgment, Izuku?" And then Izuku says, No, I'm not. I was just asking a question." He says, "Well, don't do that. You are a weapon, understand?" Izuku then says, "Yes, sir. I am a weapon to be used by you." That is immediately when the guy walks out and Izuku jumps down from the top of a tree and transforms his arm into like this liquid metal and then chops the dude's head off. He immediately grabs the body and then goes over to every single person in the house and wipes their memory of this guy's existence, right? And he then basically leaves. That's when Izuku starts getting a splitting headache while he's walking back. And then he realizes he's 13. And Izuku just wakes up and says, What? What's going on?" He's still standing in the middle of the road or like the walkway, but then he's like, "Wait, where am I? What's going on?" And that's immediately when Izuku is overwhelmed with a whole bunch of memories. And he says, "What has happened to me? My people, my parents. What are they?" And then Izuku continues to think, saying, "No, they're probably dead already. I can't do anything at this point. I was too late." Izuku then gets a radio signal, and he answers it saying, "Yes." Then that's when they say, "Wolf, your job. This time, it's going to be one of the hardest you've ever done. It's going to be a long mission, so make sure that you pack yourself up and be ready." Izuku said, "Of course." Izuku takes a flight from wherever he was. Let's just say he was somewhere, and he comes to Japan, right? And Izuku then basically says, "I'm here. What is it that we're doing?" The man says, "Good, Izuku. Come here." And he puts his hand over his shoulder and says, "This is going to be your final mission as Wolf. Make sure that you complete it." Izuku says to himself, "Final? What is this dude talking about?" And then that's when he says, "Oh, right. The plan is you're going to infiltrate the school UA and kill All Might." Izuku's eyes widen, saying, "What?" And then that's when the guy looks at him strangely, saying, And Izuku says, "I mean, is this the mission you require of me, sir?" And that's when he says, yes it is. Remember, you're a weapon." And that's when Izuku starts to get a headache a little bit. And then he says, "Of course. How shall we achieve this mission, your goal?" And he says, Good. They go over the plan, and after a few minutes, Izuku prepares himself to leave, saying, "Okay, this guy has control over me. It's that word." And if you're wondering what word it is, it's weapon. That's the weapon that gets Izuku's personality suppressed by the mind, I forget, brainwashing, that's it, that's the word. But Izuku's beating it because his ability is to pretty much control people's minds, and his body reacted like his quirk is kind of like white blood cells, and since foreign things were controlling his mind, Izuku was able to beat them with his own power. So Izuku goes to Japan, taking a flight, and gets there. Right, Izuku then gets himself a house and then gets a text on his phone saying it's all transferred. Make sure that you do this mission correctly. This cannot come back on us. And then he just sees the most money he's ever seen his entire life. Well, he's kind of been out of it since he was 4 years old, but this is billions of dollars, right? And Izuku's like, this guy must be serious business. And he says, well, since he's not actually here, I should have a little freedom, but I do have to at least continue like I'm doing the mission, because if I don't, they'll probably come attack me. Izuku then gets himself a decent house and says, it appears I do know all of the basics, but how? How do I get in? And then that's when he receives another call saying, you're in UA in 10 months. Make sure you're ready. And Izuku then says, what? In 10 months? And then the guy says, oh, right. I forget. You're only 13. You have 2 more years to go, then 10 months. Izuku says, then why did you send me here? Anyway, Izuku just begins living in his life out pretty easily, making sure to keep himself in shape and getting ready, right? Learning how to use his quirk. That's when Izuku's walking down the street, one day, and he basically bumps into this girl. And the girl pretty much just bumps into Izuku and keeps walking. And Izuku turns around on a dime and jets in front of her before she can even turn around. And he says, what do you think you're doing? And then that's when the girl, who's Momo, says, what do you think you're doing? Do you know who I am? Izuku says, does it look like I care who you are? And then that's when she says, you're only saying that because you don't know who I am. I'm a Yaoyorozu, okay? Do you know how powerful and influential we are? Yeah, you're probably so scared you can't even move right now, aren't you? Izuku then says, who's that? She then begins being baffled, and Izuku says, look, I don't know where you're from, princess, but make sure you watch it next time. If you bump into the wrong person, it could cost you your life. And Izuku walks away. When she turns around to confront him, he's gone that fast. And Izuku pretty much just continues walking. This is when Izuku's around 15, so he only has 10 months left. So yeah, that's when Izuku catches wind of the villain society, and Izuku starts putting together that he thinks that maybe they might actually be that guy who's controlling him, or was. He then gets another call saying, like I said, this is the 10 months now. So make sure that you're ready. After this 10 months, you'll be going into UA, and you'll be behind enemy territory. So make sure to don't draw suspicion to yourself. Izuku complies, saying, of course, and the phone hangs up. And Izuku then says, well, this is going to be troublesome. We then flash to 10 months later at the UA entrance exam. Izuku's already passed the tests because he really doesn't have to if he doesn't want to. So he just mind controls the proctor to give him all the answers. And he basically did this before anyone got to the school. So when he has his paper, he basically gets another paper. And Izuku just takes that one, crumbles it up, and then throws it under the desk, and he pulls out his paper that he already has the answers on. That's when they get to the practical exam. When the practical exam starts, Izuku decides that he's going to not go all out, but show them something. He can't let them think he's quirkless. So he transforms his entire body into a metallic substance, and he basically just goes over to a robot and it jumps at him. Izuku just keeps his hand forward, and the robot skewers itself on his arm, untransformed. He pulls the robot off and immediately starts destroying the robots easily. That's when Kirishima, who's actually in his section and there, says, wait a minute, this guy's like me. And then he runs over to him saying, you're so manly. You have a quirk similar to mine? Izuku then says, who is this kid? Anyway, he then says, yeah, I guess. What's your quirk again? And Kirishima says, my quirk is to harden my skin into something similar to rock. Izuku says, oh, interesting. Is that all you can do? And Kirishima says, yeah. Izuku says, well, maybe you should get some training. And that's when another robot comes and Izuku's arm turns into a blade and he slices it in half. And Kirishima says, how did you do that? Izuku says, think of it like this. You can harden your body, right? And Kirishima says, yes. And he says, well, put your fingers out in a straight line and it'll basically become a sword. A jagged sword, but a sword nonetheless. You can use it for piercing and slashing attacks. And he then runs off, finishing his part in the test. But with that, I think I'm going to end this episode. If you guys enjoyed it, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and all of that other stuff. Because I really, 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 really want you guys to like this one because I like doing it. And I think that this is going to be a lot more deeper and interrooted with the villains, plus the heroes, and the controversy between them. I think you guys will enjoy it. So without me continuing to ramble on, peace.